Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode here on the Hermitcraft Amplified server. And I tell you what, I have got a bit of a sore throat. I've had it all week, I've been talking about it in the videos, and today when I woke up it was just worse. In fact, yesterday it had gotten a little bit worse and I decided to take the day off. And so today I decided to take some medicine and try and get over it, and it's definitely been helping. At the moment I can talk without it really coughing too much, whereas yesterday whenever I talked it kind of like tickled my throat and I'd start coughing. It's not been very pleasant. I've been trying to get through it, and you're probably thinking, why didn't you take medicine in the first place? Well, I like to try and get over things naturally. Whenever I get, a headache or a cold, I just try and let it pass naturally, not rely on taking ibuprofen or paracetamol or anything like that. And that's just like a personal preference, but for me it was just getting too much. I needed to record some videos today and said, alright, okay, let's do something about this. And at the moment I am feeling better and I feel like I'm on the path to recovery, which is good. So we can do this Hermitcraft episode, which is great. And that is why the last episode came out on a Sunday, by the way. I took yesterday off, today's Saturday, if you're wondering. And I decided, you know what, I don't think I can do this today. I was going to record an episode of myth busting, but I was under the weather, so that's why there wasn't one this week. And yes, so what are we going to be doing in today's episode? Might do a little bit of work on the potion room. Over here, I started digging out this area to see how much space we have. It's going to be a tough one to fit things into this area. These hoppers right here, they come right into where the pixel art is going to go. So when we get to that, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to make it all work, but I'm sure we'll find a way to do it. And is it me, or have I not put this in the center of the room? No, it's in the center of the room here. However, when you look up and look at where those are, the center of the room above, oh no, it is in line, except those contraptions just seem to be over a bit. I don't know what's going on there. It doesn't really matter because we might do a little bit of work on this today. What I do want to show you is the room back here. I talked about this a little bit in the last episode. Just wanted to make this very clean, and simple. Lots of iron blocks, and a lot more of it is done now, so you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to be like. And how is this thing doing? It's stopped again. Oh, there's no more water bottles. Well, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And apparently one of those has managed to go in there. Fair enough, I'll have to fix that. That makes sense if you run out of water bottles. Do we have no sound on because I've been AFK? That is correct. Let's turn that up. Also, video settings. Yep, everything's fine. Good to see. I tend to turn down my video settings and sound when I'm AFK so I can do other things on the computer. Anyway, let's head up top. I've had like a little bit of a wave of inspiration for something I really want to do today. If we go to the second floor here, which we haven't done too much work on. I'm still not sure about this theme. It is kind of a bit ugly, but I've tried to make it work. I want to build a furnace array over on this side over here. You see, I have been smelting a few things lately, and what I do is just hop down a random furnace, find a little bit of coal, and get it going. So I started to think, well, we need a proper furnace setup, and then I thought it would be extremely cool if at the front here, instead of having 3 chests like this, maybe we have 4, and one of them is for the furnace. So you put in your items, they get taken down with hoppers, they get smelted on the floor down below, and then sent back up again, which I think sounds awesome and a really cool way to do things. So that is kind of our plan for this episode. But if you remember, we talked about, in the last one, about having a little thing right here. I need to clear my throat. I really do. Alright, talking definitely makes it worse. We're going to put some redstone lamps here. This is something I talked about in the last... Oh, we got 1 left. Typical. I think they're in a chest down below. And it looks like there's going to be space to do this. But I thought it would be a good idea to do this first so we can see if there's going to be space to have a furnace down below as well. Because squeezing everything in is a little bit of a challenge, I tell you that. But the idea is pretty simple. We're going to use the redstone back here to send a signal down below. And it's a good thing we've got instant mine here because we're going to just do a little bit of digging. I'm going to go sort of over the top here. We don't really need to go down this far. But here's my idea. I think you're going to like this idea, so let's just dig out a bit of space and then I can explain it. We're going to send a redstone signal over to the end here, and it's going to be torches that send it up. I gotta say, if we're putting a furnace in here, this part of the room is going to be a lot more slim than that one. Let's go see how many blocks it goes back by. What we got? 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, and then that's where the wall starts. I mean, we can make it different. Not everything has to be symmetrical in the base, but 1, 2, 3 is probably going to be the minimum walkway, and then 1, 2, 3 like that. So this would be the space where the furnace would go, and right there is where we want to send the signal to. That being said, we can send it up a little bit here. I reckon there's going to be space. We don't need to overlook at that now, but I think you're really going to like the idea that I have for this, because I was kind of looking at the distance and I was thinking, we've got to send all of these signals down but they're all going to be side by side. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is the distance that redstone travels. So if we power the source at the end here, why didn't I like bring a torch with me? That would have been a really good idea, or several torches, a power source. Okay, I got a torch. So this bit down the end here is powered. We're going to have to power it from above though, because this signal strength here would be stronger if it were to head in this direction as well. So it would be powered from the back there or above. Anyway, when the signal gets up here, you can see this bit's going to be powered, but when we get to here, this one isn't. And I then realised that this is no longer going to point into a block in front of it. Which is fine. It means we just got to use repeaters here. So if I put down 2 repeaters, which I have, then you'll see that only that one gets powered. And that's going to work. Even if we have like a whole grid of this, because we're going to tile this side by side for the entire thing, then wherever it's powered, you know, it'll make its way to the end, but it won't power the one next to it. So then when we get here, that's when we can send some redstone torches going upwards. If I can put it on top of you, do I have to jump? Yeah, you know how redstone torches work going up, and then we can send that into the redstone lamps at the top there. Now the thing that I've noticed is obviously this space we want to sort of reserve for the furnace. If we remove some of these blocks going up, I don't think we're going to interfere with the contraption too much unless we get too close to it. So you can see here, this level right here is where the torches are going to go. We might even be powering those blocks to power the lamps in front of them. And then on this little bit back here, what we can do is actually have our redstone sort of come up a slope a little bit. I don't think there's actually going to be too much room for that now that I look at it. But basically it won't come out here, it will go up a little bit further. And then we'll have the repeaters. But I'll do that in the most compact way possible. And that's what we're going to start off by doing, just to see if that's possible, see how much space it gives us for the furnace setup. And you know what, if it turns out to be pretty tricky and it's going to make building a furnace array down there like really difficult, then we don't have to do that, but it'll be a fun project to see if we can get away with it. So we're down the bottom here, and I'm thinking this is probably going to be the best way to power things. So you can see we've got our redstone torch going up twice. That means when there's a signal coming down here, it's going to turn on the redstone lamp. So we can tile all of that in a row, which is cool. The thing is that this starts a little bit further back now. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we need to start this from somewhere else. Now my plan at the back here, I was looking at this over and over again and I'm thinking, well, we've got a sort of output here and here. If we put a redstone torch down, you know, that's kind of a thing. But then what we could do, and as I say, I think this might cause a little bit of a problem. Yeah, it does. Do you know what? I was going to say put a piece of redstone right there. But then it's going to connect up to the other one, and the two of them are going to be like a NOT gate or an AND gate or something like that. So only when both of these turn off do either of the outputs turn off. So that would have been a terrible idea. Anyway, now that we've got to extend it further across, it means we've got to create some sort of contraption here with some repeaters and stuff to get the signal to go on the right bit of this over here, which is actually going to be really tricky because I didn't realise the mistake that I've made there. So hopefully I can come up with a solution for this one. So we've had a little bit of a mystery here with this sorter as to how it gets started, and then I just saw it. We've got a comparator here that pulls the signal from this hopper, which is locked by the one down below, and that's how it separates the items as they come in. So they go in bit by bit, and there you go. And then the blinking of this, I imagine, takes over what the comparator's doing, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, here it goes. So let's go look at the redstone. The solution was taking me a while, but eventually I got there. You want to do something like this, basically. And do you know what? I haven't even put all of the redstone torches in yet, so let's do that right now. And there we go, they're all in. And wow, you can see it all blinking as well. Awesome. Then if we go down to the end here, only some of them should be getting powered. Look at it, it's doing it perfectly. That is awesome. I really like that. And I'm just thinking now about lighting updates. We should probably put some more glowstone in this area to keep it all good. And that is doing what I want it to do. So let's go up to the front and see if everything is okay over here. So we put in our items to be sorted, and we can actually see them going through the system. That's amazing. So the variety of items that I put in here, they shouldn't get further than, is it this row of chests, or maybe some of the nether brick will go into this one. But if you know what's in each of them, like let's say, I don't want to open any of them because some of them are trapped and that will break it. In fact, I'm pretty sure this one will be okay to open. So let's say you put in grass in the system. That's all that's got in there. You should only ever see this one blink. And then Well, actually, no, it goes straight down the front. So it would be something in the second row. You put something in the second row in, you see this one right here blink, or that one, and yeah, and then if ever you see it go further along, then you know something's wrong. But I didn't expect to see this one at the end lit up, and that to me says that it's working. And that is a really nice feature because it lets you know that something's happening. And then I guess if ever all of a sudden they turn on permanently, then you know something's wrong. Occasionally we have seen items get grouped up in these bottom droppers right here. So if that does happen, then the comparator stays on and you've got a signal of something going wrong at the front as well. So that is a mission accomplished right there. Now what we want to do is see if we can squeeze in some sort of furnace array setup in this space down here, which I'm confident we can do. Originally I was thinking, you know, we'd have like the furnaces on display and we'd have like an orange wall and, you know, like a gap where the furnaces are, but maybe we'll go for a little bit of a different approach and perhaps put the whole thing sort of in the room on display so you can see the redstone as well. That might be a nice way to do it, but for now what I need to do is actually design a furnace array, and it looks like all of our items are finished sorting as well. So when it comes to furnace arrays, there is a practice that has become pretty commonplace, and I think CodeCrafted was the person that first came up with this, but I'm sort of going from memory of things that I've seen other people build and trying to rebuild it myself, which is always a little bit of fun. And so let me explain what we're doing here. For this furnace array, we want to divide up the items that come into the system into 8 different furnaces, and you could technically do this with more actually, because it would go on the length of the redstone signal right here. But the thing is, you know, a stack divides into 8 really well. So let's say we take a stack of cobblestone like this, then it is going to travel all the way down the hoppers. So when we open one, it's going to look like there's one in there all the time, but actually it's one that moves to the one in front of it often. So when it gets all the way down to the end here, that's when it's going to unlock this signal right here and allow the items to go down below into the hopper, which will let them shuffle down into this thing right here. So I've already put a bunch into this. You can see it just went up by 1. And it's only going to go up to 15 though, because one of the drawbacks of this is that it leaves these hoppers right here locked, and that means that it's always going to keep an item in them. So I was thinking one of the things we could do is change up the redstone at the end there. I wanted to play around with that a little bit. So I think it's done all of that. We've got 1 item left over. We're going to have 15 in each of these. Now as for the way we get the fuel in there, I think we're going to do it like this. So we have 2 rows of hoppers, and yes, this is very hopper heavy, and then we have a minecart going back and forth delivering whatever our fuel source is into each of these. Then as for the items that come out of here, very straightforward, they all just move through, and then we'll have like an item elevator over here to bring it back up top. So this right here would be where our chest goes like down below into that hopper. So whenever we put items in it, they start making their way down, and then we have the the elevator nearby. So all of that should be good. The way I think we might be able to change this though, and if we turn this off now, all of those items are going to go in there. That's interesting. Maybe what you could do is have a comparator here as well. So when there's no items in here, it means that this redstone would turn off, and then that way you'd be able to detect, when items are finished going through, and it would let the last items in. So as an alternative to that, what we could do is have this sticky piston here with a block on top. So we create a pulse, like a length of signal of our choosing, which would be 4 ticks. Which is probably too short. We could make it longer, but the idea would be with a controlled signal length, when it unlocks all of this, we can unlock the hoppers for a little bit longer. Now, yes, that redstone points into there. I'm just sort of showing you how it could potentially work, and that means that then the item that was left in here might be able to go down into the one below as well. However, I've got a feeling that's going to mess up the items coming across. So I'm going to test that, and I think it's going to be very unlikely, which means we'll just roll with the original design there. But anyway, if you're wondering where we are right now, we're on my server, as always, when I do stuff in creative mode, except I've set up this plot. This is a copy of a stadium made for me by Triango Burrito. I actually done like a showcase video on it. If you're interested in that, as always, there's a link in the description box. So we took a copy of his plot, and we made this like my little area for building where people can come and hang out and watch. So if you're interested in that, the way to get here is to type /warp Xisuma, and it takes you over to this spot where someone else is hanging out, and yeah, I go over here to build now, so I'll be inside there doing my stuff when I'm online if you want to come and find me. It has been quite some time, and I think it's definitely time now to bring you back in and update you on what's going on. I've been sort of building this and rebuilding it in different positions and places, and as I sort of decide, okay, let's go ahead, let's get this thing in place, I realise that we've got more space back here than I thought we had. We can move this whole thing over by 2 blocks without this interfering with it, I do believe. And you notice that there are 2 arrays here. Well, based on where the chests up top are going to go, I wanted to make this, a bit OCD friendly, put it in the middle of the room. And if we could move this back a couple of blocks, that would be amazing. But when I said rebuilding this thing, I sort of built it at 1 block higher so that this was just a little bit further up. And because you were so close to it, it didn't feel right. So we might move that up by 1 block. And we might keep it at this height right here. But it's going to make the room look odd because it doesn't have quite this big space like this one does on this side compared to that over there. So it's just a case of me rebuilding stuff. And yes, I know the jungle wood and the orange is very unpopular together. I might just come out and rip it all out and rebuild it when I find a theme that works. But anyway, if we go up the top here, you can see that the chest arrangement for this is pretty straightforward, just 4 in a row. This I think I'm actually going to change back to a chest. I think it'll look nicer because the other ones have got these little indents, but that's the one for the furnace. This is going to be the output of the furnace and the output of this system right here, and this is going to be the input. So tons of reworking is going to get done because the input of this thing is on this side. Now when I built this, I could have actually just sort of mirrored what was going on and had the input on the other side, but I didn't. So it means that our item elevator, everything that we've built on that side so far will get migrated to this side. But that's just something I'm going to do steadily over time and not make it the focus of the videos. Yeah, so with the items coming back up into here, that's where the furnace items will go as well. So if we pop back down, we can have a look at what kind of space we have to work with. And this is how I was able to make it. I do that sometimes. I fall down the gap that I made. Yeah, we really got to sort this little system out here. It's kind of annoying going up and down that ladder. But somewhere around there is where we will go up and down between the floors. So I managed to place it in the middle because the items coming down will start right here. And then the items that go back up can simply just come round into this space because these are going to be furnaces without a system. And then go back up into that chest. That's really not too important because there's plenty of space for it. So these chests over here will be like... furnaces will be manual ones that you come up and do. In fact, I don't think you'd ever really need to do it manually if you had an automatic system, would you? So they're just there to make it look even, I guess. And then somewhere around here we're going to have like a fuel chest, and where exactly that is and how we access it to refuel it, I'm not sure, but that's something that'll get done. Maybe we can even have an indicator that could go through to like a redstone lamp in the middle and then let you know when the fuel is low. That could be really cool. But as of right now, I'm just going to tear this whole thing back up and move it back a few blocks. Thought it was pretty amusing when I realised that this side over here was only 7 long and this one was 8. But it's not amusing when you realise that you built the entire thing off by 1 block. Yep, that's right, I've got to tear it down and rebuild it all over again. How many times have I done this now? It's ridiculous. But at least it will be, 100% correct. So that does mean that this, it was aligned off to the side. I probably should have noticed that. However, it should be really simple to turn it around the corner as well, so shouldn't be too much of a hassle to do that. So yeah, got to rip the thing up and put it back together again. Have you met my friend, the magical chicken? I don't know how he got over here, but there he is. And I've seen a few zombies make their way over onto this side of the fence before. I don't know how they do it. They just somehow get over there and get stuck. Actually, they probably wander over the top of this, don't they? But anyway, you can hang out there. You're not a zombie. Anyway, let's pop down here. This is my way of getting down into this area. And I absolutely love this. One of the things that I wanted to do in the base was have lots of redstone sort of all over the place. And rather than fight that instinct of having everything all neat and tidy and symmetrical, I've kind of gone with it, and it's actually quite rewarding. So on the front here, yep, the aesthetics here not looking terribly great. We'll have to change this up at some point in the future when we've got a good design for it. But for now, it'll work. And we're at that point where we just need to test that the furnace array is going to work. So this one on this side, once again, it's just a dummy. However, all of its items that get smelted will get taken up to the top, which is just a kind of convenient thing to do because we had this redstone in the way. We wanted to make our item elevator a little further down. So they are now all connected, and the amount of hoppers in this area is just ridiculous. I'm waiting for it to start affecting my frame rate, which at the moment is still holding up pretty well. Actually, we're at 52, so we've gone under 60. I was not aware of that, and we're using Optifine as well, so something to think about. But anyway, if I show you what's going on here, it should be fairly straightforward. This is the item elevator up, however it goes to this bit so it can wiggle around the corner and then there's another mini item elevator right here. So I've sort of color coded them, and I'm going to continue doing this with the redstone, and it's all been tested, it all works. And the reason it goes like this through 2 bits is just so we can squeeze it in, but also we're going to have some other hoppers come around from somewhere else from up here, because the output chest is going to be the output chest of all of our storage as well. So it will link up to some other hoppers later on. Then over here, all I need to do now is place down some of the rails, and also I'm going to put a lever here and power it so that this will always be powered, because it also gets powered by this side and this side over here as well. But as long as that is powered, it means all of this will stay powered permanently. Then down the end here, I think I might have overlooked something, but what we're going to do is put the hopper and the chest above it for fuel on this side. Still no idea what I want to do for fuel, but that'll point into where the chest goes, and I think this should work okay. Now it's off by default, which is good. It means the minecart's going to sit here, and then when the thing is being used, it's going to send the minecart over here, and it's going to come back. And as this thing blinks, I'm hoping this will turn on, and then occasionally it will go out again, because it doesn't need to do this all the time, so it can continuously fill everything up with fuel. Now what we're going to use, I don't know at the moment. Lava buckets comes to mind. However, that's going to be a bit of a mission in the nether. We do have some lava nearby. It could be something to do. But even when we get it all over here, it's going to be a lot of lava buckets. So I'm really not sure. I think I might just do something simple to test this, because I've got some coal lying around. So yeah, the next step is to do a test. So I'm going to grab some coal, and we're going to smelt some cobble. Okay, it's the moment of truth. I am both excited and confident, believe it or not. Let's put in 4 stacks for now, and they should immediately start going down, and things should start happening straight away. So that's going back and forth. That's a good sign. Oh, look at that. Does it line up with the timing of it as well? That's kind of perfect, isn't it? When it gets back there, that's when the next one blinks. Fascinating. Alright, so this is definitely working. Let's go around to the front. Everything is smelting. There is fuel in there ready to go. That is fantastic. Oh, I'm really pleased with this. That's ever so good. So how much fuel is back here? Quite a lot of it gets backed up, and the reason that there's some there is because I went and checked all of this a second ago and took out some items that had fallen into this. So yeah, it definitely works. It can get enough fuel. So if we use coal, we probably won't. If we use something slightly automated, like a blaze farm would be lovely, but there's no blaze spawner nearby, so it's not like we can just AFK quickly in the nether and have the items automatically come through. I'm thinking a charcoal farm, some sort of automated tree farm in the future might be an option, and then that can automatically make charcoal and bring it down here. And then of course, like I said, getting lava as well is another good option. But for now, that works. And there's one thing we haven't checked, which is probably the best thing about it, is that you don't even need to go down and look at this thing when it's running. Even though it looks cool, it should automatically get sent back up again. Let's see if anything's come back up to the chest. It should all work just fine. Yeah, look at that. It's coming back up right now as we speak. So let's drop down here and see the state of this thing. The amount of items coming through this bit should be fine, because it's going to be dictated at a similar pace to this one over here. And if we click on this hopper, we might see some backed up items. A little bit, but it seems to keep up just fine. Maybe the one behind it has some more. No. So just a little bit getting backed up there. Ah, this is where all the items come through. Right, and then it gets emptied, and then another batch of 8 is going to come through, right? And get backed up a little bit. There it is. Just a little bit. Very cool stuff. So it works. That's a project done right there. I don't actually need to do anything other than moderate the amount of fuel that goes into there. And actually, I think it's finished distributing all of the cobblestone in, so all of that's going to get smelted and sent back up the top. Yeah, really happy with that. So I just recorded a big and lengthy little clip, and I was like, no, let's re-record this, because I want to wrap things up here, and I don't want to go on and on. And as I was recording, talking about what I'm doing here, I kind of realised something important, so I'll explain that straight away. So, we're in the process of redoing our storage, because we switched to this system, which is amazing, and it means that the input and output sides are swapped around. So, those filters that we built on the opposite side, we're going to build over here. I'm actually going to put the same items over here, so we're going to move everything onto this side, which is going to be a really big pain, but it'll be worth it in the long run. And then over here is going to be our item elevator that's going to bring the items up. Now this is going to change, and I'll explain why in a moment, but this is basically the same as this little silent item elevator that we've built over here. So our input chest is now going to be different. It's going to go up on this side, they're going to go through the filter there, and what's really cool is if we hop up top again, you'll see that the height of those hoppers at the top is the same height as the input of this. Now I know I've got a chest up here, but the actual input starts along here, and I was considering the possibility of just having this thing go in over on this side, but then we'd have to rewire some stuff, and it's probably not a clever idea. So this hopper will lead around to that one over there. All the items then, after if they've been filtered out or they haven't been, they will continue going through the system and they'll come out on the other side. So we won't have this item elevator anymore. We will have the items come out of the top here, because if you look at the height of this, this is the output chest. It's the same as the input for this system over here, which is fantastic. So we could just have that go around, go through this system, and then after this bit, it's going to go back down below and into our new, what this thing was doing. Actually, no, it wasn't. But anyway, this is our output. So the items that get smelted, they go up through here, and all we've got to do is take the items that come out of our system, link it up to this, and then they go up to the output chest as well. Now, the big thing that I realized when I was last recording is that I'm also going to be filtering out dirt, netherrack, and some other stuff that's very, very common, cobblestone being one, and have them mass stored. And we're going to use minecarts to move those around. So somewhere over here, the very first thing we're going to do is filter out those things. Then a second group of very common items will be filtered out, and then that's when it starts to go around this system, so we don't end up sending everything through our massive storage system. Now hopefully all of that made sense. It means that this is going to be the output chest, we're going to have a furnace chest, our ender chest, and this one over here will eventually become the input chest. So things are changing, but I'm very happy with that plan, and I think it's going to be like, this is it now, because the storage system works. So we'll get there over time, planning on doing a lot of that in between episodes, you know, off camera, now that I've kind of explained how it all works. Finally. So that's going to be the final system. Anyway, that is it from me at this episode. I mentioned something earlier in the video, and link in the description box, but I can't remember what it was, so just reminding you, if you want to check that out, that there is a link down below. And I'm doing a little wiggle walk here. If you want to leave a like on a video, it's always appreciated, makes a big difference here on the channel, and your support, as I said, is always appreciated. So that's going to be it from me, this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.